Hey everybody, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum, family.
Good to see you this evening. We are back with another power-packed edition of Nothing But the Truth with
Brother Jamil.
and Sister Tisha. We are grateful that you have chosen to be with us this special Thursday evening. Today is the 21st of May in 2026, and we've got, as I said, a power pack program for you. Glad to see so many of you coming and gathering around already. Brother Harold is here already from down in Greensboro, North Carolina at mosque number 92. And of course, we know that you all know all your mosque numbers in a row, because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Hey, there's Brother Jerry out there in suburban Maryland, right outside of mosque number 4. And so we're moving, getting some things going. The family is gathering around, and with good reason tonight. So grateful that we have a very, very special guest. But before we get to her, I want to make sure I give to you now the world's greatest and most beautiful co-host. It's Sister Tisha.
Assalamualaikum, family. Welcome to another exciting episode of Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. We are so glad that you took the time to join us. Tonight's episode is so full of information. We want you to please tell a friend to join on. You don't want to miss this show. Before we get started, we also need you to help us grow our platform. Just like we do every week, we ask that you please go to our YouTube page, Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. Like, share, and subscribe. All you have to do is look at the what's scrolling at the bottom, put the @ sign, Jamil and Tisha. It'll take you right to the page. And then please also go over to our Facebook page and do the same thing. You can go to Jamil Muhammad or Tisha Muhammad. Like, share, and subscribe.
All right. All right. That is the information that we need at the top of the hour. Don't worry, you'll hear it again later. But tonight, we want to waste no time or moment in bringing the guest of, and you say, well, wait, you guys are already friends. Yeah, that's true. We're family. But tonight, for practical purposes, we'll refer to her as a guest on the program. But she is, and she's right. You know, Mom, you're right. That is a beautiful outfit. And if your mom like it, you know you're looking good. But that green with that burst of floral power, girl. Anyway, but we're going to introduce our guest tonight, and we are happy to have her with us. She comes to us all the way from mosque number 1 in Detroit, Michigan. And if you are a follower of social media, even in a casual way, you may have seen some of the great things she does in that community. But her name is Sister YaSinah Muhammad. She's an advocate, an educator, a publisher, author, public speaker, and a student in the ministry there at mosque number 1 in Detroit. She's certified in Anti Human Trafficking and Domestic Violence education. And she helps people in crisis. She also teaches at Stepping Stones Online Education and works as a Dianetics auditor, certified Dianetics auditor. Her knowledge and hands-on experience have helped various organizations create training programs, strategies, videos, outreach materials to raise awareness about human trafficking. Our sister is a native of Memphis, Tennessee, joined the mosque there in 1996. And in this, her 30th year in the Nation of Islam, she finds herself firmly rooted there at the root of civilization in Detroit, Michigan. Since she's been in that area, of course, she's worked with various different community organizations. She is a teacher, and she is celebrating the last day of school today. So if you see her smiling a little extra broadly, it's because she is out of school, and she's excited about that. Why don't you join me in welcoming our guest tonight for a great discussion with a great sister, Sister YaSinah Muhammad. Bring her forward. All right, with that internet round of applause. We know you.
Welcome, welcome, sister. How are you?
I'm good. Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. We're going to begin in the name of Allah, and we're going to move forward in that same name. But I got the best, I told y'all I got the best and most beautiful co-host in all of television. So I'm going to prove that right now. I'm going to give you over to Sister Tisha. She'll start our discussion. Let's go. Let's find out some things we didn't know.
Right. We're going to just get right into it, family, because this discussion is going to move very fast. It's full of information, like we said. So today's topic, we're talking about human trafficking and domestic violence. I want to start off by asking you, pretty much what it is, because most of the time we hear, uh-oh, I got an echo. When we hear human trafficking, we often imagine something dramatic from the television, what we see on TV, what have you. How would you explain what human trafficking actually looks like in everyday life?
Okay, first, I'm going to give you the definition from Polaris, and it says that it involves the use of force, fraud, or coercion in exchange for labor, services, or commercial sex act. So in everyday life, human trafficking, though they give you the definition, they haven't figured out how to box it because it changes. The definition changes, and it's very broad because you have sex trafficking and you also have labor trafficking.
Oh.
And so, which is different from prostitution. That's a whole nother category. And so for an everyday person, it could be, it could take place at school. It could take place at home. It could be the girl next door. So it's not a cookie cut. The victims aren't cookie cut. Okay. It's very vast.
So you're saying human trafficking is like the umbrella, but there's different aspects under it? Exactly. Sex trafficking, labor trafficking.
Trafficking.
I didn't know that.
Yes. And so the victims it could be a wife, a girlfriend. It could be a cousin. It could be a daughter, a niece. It could be the nurse at the hospital where she's taking care of patients by day, but she's being trafficked at night. You go to the nail parlor, the people at the nail parlors. So it's very vast.
Oh, wow. What? You have a question?
I'm sorry. So you're saying that there are people walking among the average population that the average population has no idea are being kept against their will in a circle of activity that is dangerous and degrading to these people, these women, usually women and girls, but sometimes even men and boys. Is that what you're telling me?
Exactly.
So I thought when you think of human trafficking, it was more like runaways or people, people where nobody's really looking for them, or maybe they don't know what happened to them. But you're saying it's happening to everyday people. It could be people on your job.
Yes. Because what the issue is Hollywood.
The issue is Hollywood?
So because the majority of people heard of the title trafficking.
Yes.
From, you say, the movie Trafficked.
Okay.
Or some Hollywood movie. And so the mindset that's been painted is it some man that's going to come snatch you, that sees you, snatches you, puts you on a boat or a plane and takes you across the ocean. No. It could be the person that's sitting in your house and they're sitting next to their uncle and everything looks good, but nobody inside the house knows that the uncle is using his niece for sexual purposes, that he's making money off of her. So it doesn't look the way people see it in their minds. It's little girls who go to school, little boys who go to school, and they've met a friend, and the person starts off as a friend, but it gets to know them and see what their vulnerabilities are. Maybe maybe that girl or that boy are at home and they don't have resources. They don't have money all the time. So get in good with them like a snake. And then next thing you know, they're pulling them, they're introducing them to somebody, and now they're being trafficked. And mom doesn't know,
right?
Because she's working. That
hurts my heart. What are some warning signs that friends or family, should be looking for? What should we be paying attention to?
So I'll start with children.
Sure.
Grades. How are they doing in school? Has their attitude changed? Where you once had this bubbly personality young girl, is she more recluse now? Does she have more money now? Does he have more money now? Are they coming in with nice clothes that you know you didn't buy? Daddy didn't buy it.
Wow.
Young boys are used more for drug trafficking. So when you see the young boys out there on the streets, that's they're being trafficked, the majority of them.
Or for drug trafficking.
You just see a young thug, but they know somebody's gotten them, and they're being used sometimes as a mule.
What is a mule?
A mule is a person that a mule is a person that's used to help distribute drugs.
Yeah, I would say that
sometimes it's in their bodies to transport the drugs from one place to another, in their mouths, through their private areas, anything.
Okay, so now we're setting the stage, and I don't want you in the viewing family to think we're going to leave it here, because as difficult as this discussion is to have, we have to have it. We have to have the experts in it, and we have one of the premier experts in the United States with us on air. She's our sister. She's not cutting corners, but once we have this discussion, we're going to spend time in this program talking about healing and solutions, right, defending and preventing, so that we can move forward. Yes.
That's the whole purpose of the show, to bring awareness to the problem that's in our community, and also to bring solutions, healing to our community, so we can move past this, so we can be on point and recognize this, because apparently it's happening right next to us. We need to know how to define it first, so we know what it is that we're looking at, and then we can attack this problem, as heavy as it is. Yes, so we've learned so far that the human trafficking is the umbrella, but there's several different aspects of it. We learned that it affects children and grown-ups as well, right? And it could be right there in your same household. What do you feel is keeping the people, the victims, trapped? Is it fear? Is it what is it that's keeping them from telling? I can see why maybe a child wouldn't tell, but what have you learned from others?
Even with adults, it's fear. Because it depends on the situation, because every situation is not the same. There are different ways that traffickers incite fear into their victims. So you take a woman, and we'll just say a grown woman, and let's say you meet her, and because this is open, you meet her at a bar, drug her. Or you coerce her, because sometimes we, not we, but women go home with men. They meet a nice man. He takes her back to his house, or he goes to her house. Some kind of way he gets her from wherever she's very comfortable. And once he got her, you take her ID, you take that cell phone. Where's she gonna go?
Oh, wow.
If I take you across state line, where are you going to go? Because we don't know our demographics. Here in Detroit, there was a young girl right around the corner from her family out in Wall Lake. You can look it up on the internet. Out in Wall Lake, she was around the corner, 14-year-old girl, for months. In a shed.
Around the corner from her house.
From her house, in a shed. And the only reason why the guy was arrested was because he one day tried to sell her to his brother. And his brother went out. He said, I got to go get some money out of my truck. And he called the police.
Praise be to Allah. So we hear a lot of times, or we assume a lot of times, that it's women being trafficked. Yes. Do you find that there are young boys and men being trafficked?
Young men being trafficked. You have, unfortunately, in the foster care system, we're finding an uptick in the foster care system. in the LGBTQ plus community, there's an uptick.
Do you mean among the homosexuals?
Oh, among the homosexuals, there's human trafficking. In gangs, there's human trafficking with boys, as I said earlier. And it's, and then you got the prison system, you got juvenile facilities, you got schools, you got churches. So it's vast.
Okay. Now we have seen some of the problem. And we are not yet but about a quarter of the way into our program. There's one of the solutions offered by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad there at the bottom of the screen. And we'll come back to that because I know that there may be a certain word of vocabulary in that solution that people don't want to usually deal with, but it's something that the Honorable Elijah understands at a higher level. It does not mean some low life kind of domination and autocratic, foolishness. But here's my question, Sister YaSinah. As widespread as this problem is, and as significant as it is, tell me the idea in your mind, and I know it has to be there because you're making a difference. What made you understand that you could make a difference? Because you are actually doing that. What is it that made you understand that you could? Because now you do.
Because I am a survivor of human trafficking.
Oh, wow.
I was in human trafficking from the age of 3 till I was 19. And it was, this is not a cliche because I got this garment on, but it was the teachings that kept me from when I was 19 about to commit suicide. It was hearing the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on a cassette tape, on a videotape, a VHS tape of Donahue.
Yes.
Somebody asked me in the chat, somebody just came in, what is a videotape? It must be a younger person.
They're young. They're real young.
We'll explain that later.
That's a whole nother that's a whole nother show.
Right.
But it was a VHS of Minister Farrakhan. And from that tape, and I have to give credit to Brother Matikas down in 55.
Yes.
Because when I met him, when we had the Respect for Life bookstore on North Parkway, I would go in there and he would give me cassette tapes to listen to. And it was Stop the Killing, Louisville, Kentucky.
Yes, ma'am. 1990,
when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, "You're not precious because your hair is long or short. You're not precious because your bosom is big or small. You're not precious because your hips are round or straight. You're precious because through you, God is perfecting man and woman." That changed my life because that made me realize, and it just stays in my mind. And it may help me to realize that I'm here for more than just to be somebody's tool and slave. It helped me to realize that there is value in me. And so it was coming into the teachings that saved my life. And I had to do work.
Yes.
I had to get counseling because it's not an abracadabra thing.
Right.
I had to do years of counseling. I had to get audited. I had to just work on me and learn the value of me. But it took getting out of the environment that I was in and being around people to help me to see that value.
So you say get out of the environment that you were in. Sometimes it seems like maybe the victim, like we said, there's fear, there's lack of resources, whatever. They can't get out. What is the what kind of, how would you speak to them? It's not courage. It's not that there's, I don't know what it is. What is it that made you say, I'm done, I'm out of here, or this is the day I'm leaving?
Well, let me say, 19, I was living at my grandmother's house, and he would come to my grandmother's house and abuse me. And it was just this one day that I just couldn't take it no more. And I said, if you come back again, I'm going to tell my grandmother. But so that was one, because I knew my grandmother carried pistols. So that's just for me.
Right.
But it was just something that clicked
Mm-hmm.
in my head. Everybody is so, and I didn't leave my grandmother's home. And I still, like I said, I still had to do the work because I still lived in fear.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was just one aspect of it. But in that, you get, for however long you stay in it, you develop sometimes Stockholm syndrome.
And what's that?
So there are different layers to Stockholm syndrome. I had sympathy because these people were in the church. So even when I said something, I developed sympathy for them because I was made to believe it was my fault.
Mm.
Then I became my own abuser. Bad relationships.
Okay.
Feeling sorry for them, thinking because I think I'm bad. Doing to myself what they were doing to me.
Okay.
And so that's where the work came. And I'm just being honest.
Sure.
That's where the work came in. But it was me saying enough is enough with my own self and wanting something different. And I didn't leave my mother's home. I had to steal away. So I left my grandmother, went back to my mother. And that was another different set of financial abuse, which is another form of human trafficking.
If we suspect somebody in our community is being trafficked or abused, domestic abuse, anything like that, and we feel we want to help, we want to be a support, is there any particular way we should go about it? Because you don't want to be overbearing, right? You don't want to be insensitive.
So
how do you go about helping?
All the time. I won't even say sometimes. If somebody feels comfortable enough and they think that you're a safe person, listen. Don't say nothing. Just listen.
Yes, ma'am.
And then do not ask them, girl, why didn't you leave?
Mm-hmm.
Girl, why didn't you say something? And one of the worst things I've heard was, you must have liked it because you stayed in it.
That's crazy.
So sometimes you can help by sometimes not saying anything, and then help them to find the resources that they need, that they're looking for. Ask them, what do you need? What can I help you with right now, that if you want to get out?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, what do you need?
You know, you often hear people say that they say that to people, I'm gonna help you get out. They provide some help. And then the person who is the victim or the survivor turns around and revert and go back under the control of their abuser. Have you seen that? Is that a real phenomenon? And what can be done about that if it is?
I see it often. I'll have people call and we will get them help, get them into a shelter. But then they'll leave and go back. So because once they're out, especially if they go to a shelter, then they ask them, in a women's shelter, you can't nobody is supposed to know where you are.
Right.
But you do have access to make phone calls. So you call that person and that person starts saying that I'm not going to do it anymore, da 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 da, and they end up going back. So that's up to them, unfortunately, because you can't grab them by the head and make them go. I pray. When they call, I listen. If they're not ready to go, I tell them I'm here for you. And when you're ready, call me back. So I have every person that's ever called me. We're going to allow every woman, every man's phone number still in my phone in hopes that one day they'll call.
Praise be to Allah. What can we do as viewers of Nothing But the Truth? How do we become helpers or aiders of yours from where we are? What do we do? How do we become involved in becoming more watchful? Tish, does that make my question making sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
How do we assist in your efforts?
But that's
so I would say in our own homes, in our own families, pay attention to to the young girls. Pay attention to the to what's going on in the neighborhood. That's if you see something, say something. That's real. There are many people who've been rescued because somebody saw something and they said something, even in the neighborhood. So if you see something, say something. If you have children who are on because they're connected to these devices all the time.
Yes.
Know what your children are watching when they're on their tablets, their computers, their cell phones. You should know what apps they're on. You should know who they're talking to. And as a disclaimer for the parents and the grandparents, those children do set up dummy accounts.
Yes.
And they do have some stuff going on. So I'm a firm believer in you should learn jailbreak on phones, on tablets, where you got the password and you know how to go in there and look at that history and to see what they're looking into. Because we're finding that between Minecraft, Roblox, Discord, we're seeing that traffickers disguising themselves as children.
Wow.
You see that all the time. So it's learning your environment and paying attention. Keep your eyes open. You're at the grocery store, you see something that don't look right, call somebody.
I want to thank Brother William for posting the National Human Trafficking toll-free hotline. It's 888-373-7888. I know you're familiar with it, Sister YaSinah, but thank you, Brother William, for adding that as an additional resource to our nationwide and international audience who views this program. Thank you very much.
And then in the mosque, in the churches, I want to say that, if you don't mind, mosques, churches, study groups, grocery stores, doctor's office, wherever, skating rink, the hotline numbers, it'll be great to have those tabs where somebody could just tear it off.
Oh, yes.
And have it with them so that if they need the help, they can get the help.
Right. A quick snap of the number and hide it and go.
Yeah. Yes. And you can go and they can put it on their person where their perpetrator won't be suspicious of them. The domestic hotline information as well. Have those tabs. We're in modern time. Have those tabs. And that's something that can't be traced on a cell phone.
Right. So, oh, wow. This is great. We are quickly approaching the bottom of the hour, so we'll take a quick commercial break. When we'll come back, we'll further discuss human trafficking and get a little bit into the domestic violence, but also we're going to get into some healing solutions.
That's right.
What we can do as a community to stop some of this, right? Protect our babies, our women, our children, our men, our communities, right? All right, so we'll be right back as soon as I find the commercial. Hold on, friends. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, family.
Assalamu alaikum.
What are we saying? What are we doing? Woo! Assalamu alaikum, family. Assalamu alaikum, family.
Assalamu alaikum.
We want to thank you for taking the time to tune into Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil
And Sister Tisha. We thank you for every Thursday night joining us for appointment viewing. 8 p.m. Not 8 a.m.
Yeah, I'm going to come in on the PM.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Thursday nights by YouTube, by Facebook, by Instagram, by all the other means by which we can be seen. But we thank you, because without you, as a matter of fact, here the Manhattans, there's no me without you.
We always do that. Assalamu alaikum.
There's no me.
You didn't say assalamu alaikum. You didn't say assalamu alaikum.
Oh, assalamu alaikum. Yeah, keep the phone handy all the time in case the Manhattans call me to fill in for Gerald Olsen. You know, I never know, he might be on tour and they might need a brother. You know what I'm saying?
You should, because you hit all those notes.
I cannot.
See what I'm saying? That's my sister. Okay, checks in the mail. Listen, we're back to the conclusion of our discussion. Thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching, of course, Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. Our very special program guest tonight is our sister, our friend, our colleague in this fight for freedom, justice, and equality, Sister YaSinah Muhammad from Mosque Number 1 in Detroit, Michigan. As we come back to our discussion, of course, as we ask you to give to Brother Student Minister Troy and all the believers in Detroit all of our love, we are very grateful for you taking the time to spend with us. Tish, I know that you talked about healing and solutions. And if I could just ask a little question before you guys get into the dialogue that will define the rest of the program. There's short-term healing, there's long-term healing. You mentioned earlier that sometimes you got to do work that lasts years when you're a survivor, knowing that you're blessed, but still working to make sure we eliminate the effects of what happened in the past. What are some of the short-term solutions that can be applied, whether you've been labor trafficked or whether you've been trafficked for drug mule activity or trafficked for illicit sex work behavior or prostitution or just being abused? What is it that we can do right away that starts making a difference the same day we do it?
I would say for any person, one, go get medically checked out. Because once you get medically checked out, then you'll know what's going on internally, with your physical. And also get a therapist. Find somebody that you can confide in so that you can at least talk it out.
Right.
And change as much as you can, change if you can't change your environment, change the company you keep. And just know that it's a chapter in our lives, but it's not the whole book.
That's right. That's right.
It's not the whole book.
It's not the whole book.
That's right.
And once we get to that point, and it takes time. Healing is not abracadabra. So what may take some person, someone may say in a year, I'm good. For some people, it may take years.
Wow.
And I'll say to the ones who the loved ones, the ones who say you love, be patient. And for the survivor, get out of don't say victim, because you survived it.
Yes.
When you're a victim, that means you're still in it.
Okay.
When you're out of it and you're away from it, that means you should go into survivor mode until you don't have to be in survivor mode anymore. But the first thing is to want to do the work.
Yes, ma'am.
Take it second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. It's not a race.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes you got to skip this thing before you can walk it. Yeah. So that would be mine.
Just so heavy. We can fix this problem. We can make a big change. We just have to get back to community and mean it and be serious about it. The churches, the schools, the local organizations, the families, right? You got to be family. And it sounds like from what you were telling us earlier, we have to be that safe place for our friends and family who may be going through something. Can you imagine feeling like you're all alone, you're stuck in this? Can you imagine how you're coming down on yourself? Why is this happening to me? Especially if you're a man or boy. You said these are happening more and more to males. You're not going to go to nobody, your aunt so-and-so and cousin so-and-so who's always running their mouth telling everybody's business. Why would you? That's not a safe place. We have a responsibility as friends and family to be a safe place, as the community to be that safe place, if we're really true about wanting to heal.
And don't judge what you don't understand.
Come on.
Right.
You don't understand it. So how can you, and even if you did understand it, you are still not God. You don't judge. But it's not something that you understand. You're on the outside looking into a whole world that you didn't even know existed.
Wow.
Right.
How do you help a child whose parent is in denial? And I think that's more on the abuse happening at home or within the family or what have you. Because children, sometimes they don't tell for fear that you're going to hurt the parent is going to be hurt, but they'll tell a teacher or they'll tell a neighbor. What do you do if you're the neighbor? How do you bring awareness to this?
Don't confront the person, the parent, or don't. You report that. You have to
report it,
because I would rather report it and everything turns out is that the child is okay. It's just something going on with the child internally with the child.
Okay.
Then I not report it. And then something detrimental happens to the child. It goes back to see something, say something.
Right.
And one of our issues in our community is, the whole snitches get stitches, blah, 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 blah. But we got a whole community dying.
Is it possible that we can, and I thank you for that point, because that makes a whole lot of sense. What can be done to bust up what I call the good old boy network? What I mean by that is that there is, because even though there are cases of men and boys being abused, this is predominantly a case of women and girls being subjugated to treatment that is lower than the treatment that a dog should get. And furthermore, that these men, they co-sign it, they hide it, they cover it up. They do it in their institutions, their places of worship, even in the government system, in the society at large. Men cover up the abuse of women and the misrepresentation of the character of the women who are being abused. What do you think, sister, that we can do to break the old boy network? What can be done?
We have to teach our young girls the value of ourselves. Teach women the value of ourselves. Even go so far back as to find out, where did this whole stigma of women being a lesser being come from? Because it's a psychological thing that's just been passed on from generation to generation. So women have to learn and teach our boys the value of the female. But men have to be willing to learn the value of the female and to learn who we are. And then learn to respect, learn to protect. Because we can quote it. Love, protect, respect the Black woman. We can quote it all day long. But do you understand it? Do we understand it even as women?
When I posted a quote earlier from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, there's a word that he uses: respect, protect, and control of the Black woman. And often that word control is a hot button word because it introduces an idea. I don't want nobody telling me what to do, where to go. You can't tell me I'm grown. You ain't my daddy, right? You hear this kind of a thing pop up. But I know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not talking about controlling in the sense that you're in prison. How have you understood that word control to be used by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and implemented in healthy situations among families? How do you see that happening?
And I'll leave the marriage part out of it and just stay in the confines of family.
Okay.
If whether it's a father, an uncle, a brother, he should have the mindset to check, and I have to say Memphis style, check that girl when she needs to be checked.
Okay.
No, you're not going outside like looking like that. Who you going? No, there's a curfew. You need a curfew. No, you can't go hang out with that girl like grandma used to do and granddaddy used to do. No, you can't go hang out with them. You got to regulate your home. And for grown women, we got to learn how to regulate ourselves.
Yes, ma'am.
Put yourself on a curfew.
Right.
It's
who you hanging out with.
You say like grandmama and granddaddy used to say. I don't know if they still use these words, but you know, your grandfather would tell you, and certainly your grandmother would, because they were verbal back in my day, grandmothers. And Big Mama would tell you, Granny, or in my case, Mama Lulabelle, they would tell you, them boys is mannish. You ain't around them. They use the word mannish. Then they would say to your girl, you think you're going to hang with her?
That little fast hair girl.
She fast.
Right.
That little fast hair girl. And don't let the street lights catch you.
That's right. But you have to see that coming up today because there's so many choices. Everybody, I'm giving my children choices. They can decide who they are.
No, they not in my house. No.
So
cell phones, because we are in modern times. Them cell phones. What time are you collecting cell phones, mom and dad?
Oh, they don't even do that. They go to bed with them phones. Yeah, we have to do better.
What kind of pictures are we taking, mom and dad?
We are approaching, it's almost time for the end of the show, but I want to get some of, in the chat, a lot of people were given tip lines. I want to show some of those and then go over some of the tip lines that you have to offer to the audience as well. Okay. Brother William, we had put this one up earlier. The National Human Trafficking toll-free hotline number is 888-373-7888. He also says that in your local police departments usually have an anonymous tip line specifically for sex crimes. So you can report something anonymously.
Yes.
Let me see. Brother Harold says, I've seen foreign videos that show a universal hand signal. Is there one here in the United States?
It's the same one.
It's the same. And what does that mean? Tell us.
This is help. This is help. This is the universal sign language, the universal help signal. This is it.
Okay. All right. Brother William also says www.familywatchdog.us is the website that you can look up sex offenders near you. And let me see. Sister Gina Tay says, Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Let me see what else. I'm going to go to some of the graphics that you have provided as well and ask that you explain those.
Yes, please do. Because our sister is an author, a lecturer, and an expert in the subject matter, not just in this particular case, but also she writes great spiritual books. I'll see that in just a moment. So go right ahead, sis. What's this we're looking at?
So what we're looking at now is what Brother William brought to attention is the signal for help, which is, and it's folding your thumb into your hand, and then your other four fingers up and down. And then we have the hotline for human trafficking. If you can call the number, you can text the number. And then if you're, if you know someone that's hearing impaired, because we're seeing that a lot with our people in the deaf community and autism and in the autistic community who are being trafficked as well, then you have those numbers as well as the emails. Then for domestic violence, because there's an uptick of domestic violence just across the board. So we're really focused right now on bringing awareness to domestic violence. And we're seeing an uptick of suicide in the Black community. We are surpassing other racial groups in suicide.
Wow.
So I just want to have that there, and just the crisis text line. And they will call you back, or if you cannot talk, some of them, even if you don't use these, there are more where if you just want to text, they will tell you. There are people who are waiting to just text with you, to talk to you, to see how they can help.
Okay.
And always call 911.
Yes. Tell us about this. What is this?
So this is Faith Without Measure. That was my first book that I wrote. And Faith Without Measure is an interview between myself and my friend Tracy. And we're talking about my history with human trafficking, and some of the steps that Allah blessed me to take to begin my journey of healing. And at that particular time, where I was in my mindset with that one. I just started healing from amnesia with that one.
Okay.
And then this is my new baby. This is Mary Magdalene.
Okay.
And this is as it says, the exoneration, the truth, and the restoration of women. And what I did, by the grace of Allah, I spent years just studying Mary Magdalene. And it's in my own way, my defense against the lies that were told against her, defending her character.
Wow.
And using the church to exonerate her and restore her dignity, as we're helping to restore the Black woman and women in general.
If you are interested in ordering one of her books, we have the numbers listed on the screen where you can reach out to contact Sister YaSinah. You can simply call 248-508-2247. Or you can go to, is that your website? YaSinah at videos2books.com.
Let me just say this about the book ordering, though, Sister Tisha, just by way of transparency. Let's order 2 books, because this library here in my area that you make me go to, I don't want you coming in here borrowing my stuff. So let's order you a book too, so that you don't have to treat these books like French fries. All right?
Yeah, sure. All right, Sister YaSinah. Forget what he's saying. I mean, I take what I want. All right? All right?
Whatever.
Marriage stuff. I'm going to stay over here in my lane.
Okay. So as we round out the end of the show, what would you say to someone who may currently be stuck in one of these situations and trying to get out? What word of encouragement would you give?
Whenever you're ready to get help, help is available.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not my place to say get out. I would just say that when you're ready, we're here, and you have a whole community of people who love you.
Yes.
And there are safe places for you to begin your journey of healing. And it's not over unless it's not over.
Right. It's not over.
It's actually the beginning.
That's right. That's right.
That's what I would say.
And I'm so glad that you're talking about beginnings now, because there are families forming now, young people who come to marriage not perfected, not without blemish or flaw, but they come in sincere desire to make their word their bond and to spend their lives uniting under the principles that they share, whether their shared beliefs are called Christianity or Islam or whatever you believe in, if you two both believe in it and refer to it in times of difficulty, you will have a base of support. Even if what you believe is Karl Marx, if you relate to Karl Marx, then go get, the manifesto and read that at times when things get difficult. But my point is that this information you're giving will help us to heal and to protect at the same time. Is that something you wrote into it intentionally, to heal what has happened and to prevent what could happen? Because I see that as a brilliant and spirit-raising aspect of what you do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it's I see, because I haven't reached the end of the tunnel,
Right.
but I see the beauty in the tunnel. And it's just walking into it. It's
Yes, ma'am.
Langston Hughes, life ain't no crystal staircase.
Right.
And everything that we go through is for a divine purpose.
Yes, ma'am.
If we can see past the pain.
I saw a recent clip of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Savior's Day 96, in the green FOI uniforms. And he was teaching, and he said, the reason why you are not as great as you should be is because you cannot take pain.
Yeah.
You can't tolerate it. Now, no one likes pain.
Right.
Nobody that likes pain, but certainly when pain happens, going through it instead of quitting in the midst of it can qualify you to come out of it with the blessing that you seek. If that makes sense. And I see that in what you're doing here. Now, one thing we don't do on Nothing But the Truth, we don't preach. There's no preaching. I don't do any preach. Why, Tisha? What's the face?
I'm listening.
No, okay. So I'm not preaching per se, but I do have to bear witness that when God is present in your effort, he makes himself your whole strength and pulls you out by his grace. And so the Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, that I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. You're strong. Allah gives you the strength. God gives you the strength, but it's through the example of the man called Christ that you gain that strength. I feel his strength in you, Sister YaSinah. I see his strength, and I see the gratitude over your recovery. I'm so grateful for it, because even though you don't say you've finished your recovery, your progress is inspiring to people who are behind you on the road. So please keep up the good work. Yes.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you.
Praise be to Allah.
We're going to break these trauma bonds and get to this healing. We're going to be that community that offers that safe support. We're going to remind our friends and loved ones that they are loved.
That's right.
And that they can get through this, and that they're not getting through this alone. We are here with them, right? That's what we're going to do. That's what we owe each other. We want to give you the last word. If you have anything you want to say to our audience before you leave, and before we do that, I just want to thank you again. Thanks you again for coming on to the show, and we would love for you to please come back for part 2.
I would love to. And like my brother, I'm not going to preach, but I will say this. We're all here for a divine purpose.
Yes.
And everybody's purpose is not the same.
Yes.
The goal is the same, but our purpose might be different. I believe that what Allah brought me through was for his divine purpose. Because had I not gone through what I went through, I couldn't do what I'm doing. And I couldn't do it as passionately.
Yes.
As I do it, because I'd be on the outside looking in. But I'm grateful. He says, your ways are not my ways.
That's right.
If I was doing it my way, it would be a whole nother thing. But I'm here for it. I just want to do his work and help our people heal.
Yes.
And I do it with a child's heart, with pixie dust and dandelions.
Come on.
And that's my thing. That's my quote. Y'all can use that. That I am pixie dust and dandelions because I know what he brought me through.
Come on.
And I'm grateful because I don't wear the scars on the outside that are healing on the inside.
Praise be
So
to
that was his blessing, one of his blessings to me.
praise be to
So
all
it's gonna be pixie dust and dandelions.
on that. Pixie dust, and you wouldn't have had to worry about me using that line, because if I ever did,
No, I don't think you're gonna use that.
But we're so thankful. Our guest tonight has been Sister YaSinah Muhammad, our sister, our friend, our family member from Mosque Number 1 in Detroit, Michigan. She's been here talking with you and with us on Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. Tish, anything that we need to be instructed about on the way out the door? And we're going to make we get back together again soon.
Yes, we want to just remind you to please go to our YouTube page if you haven't already done so and become a supporter of the show. You can also click on that QR code right there to support the show, support our efforts, and help us grow. We sure appreciate you. And don't forget, same time next week, we want to see you back here on these airwaves. What is it? Airwaves? I try to be funny. I messed it all up. We want to see you back here on these airwaves as we have another exciting episode of Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. But as for now, what are we going to do, Ham?
We got to say assalamu alaikum. We out of here. Salam alaikum, everyone.
Family.